offer many training tracks as well. And also, East Asia, we have many, many young students and then young professionals who are taking already, the training tracks. And it's so grateful, to see those younger generations are growing, right, looking up, for the future. So ICMDA, the one of the important, aim is to equip the young leaders, to grow. So this morning, I'm not going to present everything. I invited all the younger leaders, to share, so that we are not only learning from the training tracks, but we are going to share with other people, so that help others to grow as well. So we wanted to take the opportunities, for them to present as well. So today, we are going to have, overall, view on the ICMDA training tracks for headwind, and then, each training tracks. That's when, Dr. Alice will do confidence Christianity, Soman King, servant leadership, and Shiho signal leadership, and also Sailing course by David, and then also building Sailing movement in Hong Kong, especially, by Dr. Louis as well. And then we have small discussion groups. And then at the end, we pray for the younger generation. Okay, so I pass it to.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. And these are the 10 training tracks that are already quite common in ICMDA. And you have heard this from Peter Saunders, but there are some of the new training tracks that are currently being developed. And Sailing is one of the big thing happening in anywhere in the world. And Louis will share later about Hong Kong Sailing movement. And Sailing is happening in Korea as well. This is the one in last year. And this is my friend Kinanti, a nurse from Indonesia, sharing the Sailing Tracer in Taiwan. Sailing in East Asia, a little bit of Sailing in East Asia. Yasuko and myself are currently the multiply trainers. We have more multiply trainer candidates from China and Hong Kong. Louis is a candidate for multiply trainer, and South Korea, Dr. Han and Hyun Park are in the process to be multiply trainer. So multiply trainer is able to teach the TPP or training the trainers. So we have witness trainers currently in China, Hong Kong, South Korea, and Mongolia. And in Mongolia, we have another multiply trainer from NCF, Nurses Christian Fellowship. So nurses, we have a partnership with Nurses Christian Fellowship International. So check it out about NCFI. They have a global organization as well, like ICMDA, and we are very, very, very close together. So there are already trainers in China, Hong Kong, South Korea, and Mongolia, and there are some trainer candidates in Macau. So this is some highlights of Sailing movement in East Asia. And you will zoom a little bit more about Hong Kong with Louis. And this was last April 2024, this year. So I came to Macau with some other Hong Kong leaders and some Macau leaders. And so many people from mainland China actually joined this Sailing training. So actually it's around 17 people from China, around 17 people from Macau, and around 6-7 people from Hong Kong altogether. And we had a great time. The people from mainland China come from 4 cities: Shanghai, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and Haikou in Hainan Island. So it's very good to be connected to Sailing movement in China, because I just know there that they have so many people have been trained. They have 3,000 people plus have been trained from 2009 to 2019. But they never issue certificate. They never record the database. It's because of the security. So it's a little bit, database is a little bit not to show there, but they mentioned that they have trained around 3,000 people, and they have approximately 400 trainers in China. And we are very happy to start to be connected with this large group, underground group. And they conducted Sailing annual meeting 2017 in Wuhan, 2018 in Xiamen, 2019 in Macau. And the 2019 gathering brought Sailing movement in Hong Kong, because the Hong Kong trainer came to Macau in 2019. They learned Sailing there, became a trainer, and they bring Sailing back to Hong Kong. And recent 2024 meeting in Macau meant to revive the cell line movement in China, so please pray for this. This is cell line in Mongolia, SPTTT in March 2018. It's collaboration between NCFI, ICMDA, and HCFI, and Bureau, the current president of NCF International. They plan to translate the cell line materials to Mongolian language, and they start to have a cell line training soon. So hopefully they can get connected to Dr. Segi and Chris, Dr. Mark. Our aim is to bring as many languages as possible to East Asia. So many training are in English, bioethics, servant leadership, Sinham, health and missions. But Confident Christianity, last year we conducted it in Mandarin. So we hope to conduct it again in Mandarin this year. So this is how training tracks looks like, and you have seen this picture many times. And this is how the Mandarin training looks like. So they translated all the reading materials into Mandarin. The WhatsApp is in Mandarin. It's a bit messy because they have to open WeChat group as well, because some participants from China, they cannot access WhatsApp. So we have two participants group, one in WeChat and one in WhatsApp. And we have two from China attending this course, and the rest are from Malaysia, Chinese-speaking Malaysia, from Taiwan, and even Chinese-speaking in Australia as well. Because lots of students from China goes to Australia for study, so there are lots of China students in Australia. And this is the Japanese Sydenham. You will hear more from Yasuko. This is the servant leadership, and this is some of the new training. We are trying to develop this LGBTQ issues training because this is a very big topic in young people nowadays, and we have to know how the Christian understanding for this issue. And we have also Salt and Light in Dentistry for dentists. This is a new course developed by Australian doctor, Caring for You, how to take care for yourself. Like the message from the last message from Dr. Reverend, our pastor this morning. And then there is a new course also about creation care and health, about environment, and also practical issues of life, especially for young doctors and students, how to choose specialization, how to manage your time, how to manage parenting or family marriage life in the early residency career. So it's all those messy life of young doctors will be discussed here. And the upcoming plans, we want to have more training tracks in Korean, Mandarin, Japanese, and even Mongolian. So we want to have Mongolian English speaking to join English course, and then you can be facilitator for Mongolian courses. So international English training tracks will keep going, and we want to also grow cell line in-person training in Taiwan, Japan, Mongolia. Korea is already quite growing, and China already growing, but we need to have more emphasis in Taiwan, Japan, and Mongolia for cell line. We have so many East Asian training tracks facilitators so far. There are familiar names here have become facilitators, and we are praying for future facilitators. So you are not yet facilitators, but we are praying for you to soon be facilitator. And then the red colors, it means you have not done facilitating that course, but we hope you can also be a facilitator for that course as well. So we quite have a number of facilitators in East Asia, and we hope the number will grow. So these are the possible plan for East Asia. We can have CC Mandarin soon. We can have lunch after this, David. Maybe we can start to look for a starting date. And servant leadership Mandarin also possible. Sydenham Korea. It's not the name of the disease, but it's Sydenham training in Korean language. And then CC in Confident Christianity Korea also possible. Bioethics and servant leadership Korea, it's also possible, and cell line in Taiwan. We can discuss about the cell line training for trainers. So pray for the growth of the training in East Asia. Thank you.
Dr. Alice. The next presenter, please come from the
I'm going to introduce the Confident Christianity, and I believe that you have heard so many times today, but we're going a little bit detail about it because I've joined the second time, and the second time I was a facilitator. So you can search the website and it's on it. And I think the main course is to understand the mindset of non-Christians and to share our faith confidently. So we try to be like apostles, they articulately spread the gospel. So we try to find a suitable language and in a safe place to have an opportunity for discussion about our faith. So in the beginning, I got this course. In the beginning, it's like the journey of my faith. So they will ask 10 questions about myself, like who am I, where did I come from, why am I here, or where am I going, and deals with terms of like death or suffering, and sometimes we talk about injustice, and what can I know, what should I believe, and what must I do. So during the class, and it's daily questions. I think it's quite difficult. Like some questions is Christ the only way to God? Or isn't the Bible full of errors? And isn't Christian experience only psychological? Or how can miracle be possible? And how about those who have never heard the gospel and why suffering? Or will good moral life get me to heaven? I think those questions sometimes we need to think thoroughly about it. So total 10 weeks course, and then each section including 2 modules. So left and right, you can see the first class is like worldviews and Christian theism, and in the middle, they will teach us a strategy about how to avoid circularity and relativism, and teach us the skills about the persuasion. So at the end, we will talk about the difficult questions. So it's more like, I think having also shows that it's a Slack. On the Slack, and we will see the 2 videos and 1 short articles, and then we will do our assignment on it to respond to those questions. So probably like this, the videos over there, and the articles, and those questions. And questions probably more details, so you could look. And I will choose one, like here, about the suffering questions. So this is, I choose David's questions in random, and yeah. And this is about us. Before I conclude, I want to share the experience of myself, because one day before I went to Chicago, I met my friend, and my friend told me in advance that she was in a depressed status. And I said, is she okay to meet up with me? And she said it's okay. So when I met her, I told her that I was going to Japan tomorrow. And she asked me, what are you going to do there? I said, I'll join the conference, and it's for the Christian medical professionals. And she said, and what are you exactly doing there? I said, I'm going to present and talk about the training course that I learned from the internet. And she said, oh, what's it talk about? So yeah, you see, you don't know when or where you will need to answer those questions. So then I talked to her and said that it's a course, talk about the Christian faith, and you have to solve some difficult problems, difficult questions. And I made some examples of difficult questions. And she picked up one. She said, why God let us suffer? So I think it's quite interesting. I think through the course, it's kind of challenging your faith, and you will think thoroughly, deeply in God. And when you have meeting with others and listen to others' experience, you will pile up the answers, and finally you will find out your answers. Yeah.
Good morning, still. I'm back. I'm presenting about the 7 leadership ICMDA training track, which recently finished up. We had started in May 2024, and I think we finished last week. So, so I'll try to keep it nice and short as well. So now I'll introduce myself. My name is Solman Kim. I grew up in South Africa from the age of 4, and then I've been there. I studied throughout my, primary school to high school to university. I worked there as well until now. I've come to Korea since last year, and this is Cape Town. This is where I studied and stayed for 6 years of my medical training. If you take a look where I grew up, it's here in this place called Port Elizabeth. It's one of the biggest seaside towns. And then later when I studied, I went here to Cape Town. I worked 2 years in Soweto, Johannesburg, and then I was 1 year in Petersburg before I came to South Korea. I've been moving around and God has placed me in given me opportunities to go to the major cities in South Africa. So, to try and help you understand my journey with servant leadership, I just want to share a little bit of my story, but nothing too personal. That can come at another time. So, basically, towards last year, I was given the opportunity to help organize an outreach, and there wasn't really someone who was going to be leading. They needed things to be done. I could see that lots of things needed to be done, but nobody was doing it. So I thought, okay, I think I was just asked to take the steering wheel and be my own boss. So I took that initiative. And I thought it would be okay. I started with a good heart, I was doing the things, I was trying to not step on anyone's toes. But through the process and having gone through the outreach as well, I realized that efficiency is very important for me. Effectiveness, delivering good quality of work, and also delivering on the service. So if I had the outreach, I wanted to make sure that it was of a good quality, and I wasn't happy if things were not going well. That means, and also I had the presumptions that I think I realized in retrospect, I just presumed that everyone else would see what I see and think what I think and believe what I believe. But I was very wrong. I was very mistaken and things didn't. The work ended up being very good, I think, in my perspective. But at the end of the day, the relationships within the team was not okay. So, yeah. So then, leaving that behind, few moments or months later, I had been participating in the bioethics course, and then I found out about the following course that had been happening, which was the servant leadership course. In May 2021, I thought, okay, let me just participate. I need something to keep me going each week, and so I decided to join without thinking too much about the topics. I just knew I wanted to continue learning. But to start off with, the question was asked, what defines a leader? What is leadership? And you might think to yourself, is it someone who has been given the title of being a leader, or is it perhaps a person who has the power to make the decisions within an organization? And so the discussions were taking place. We were reading the materials as the presenter previously spoke about. We were watching the video content, and we started going through the course. We also had a number of speakers which were invited to share their journeys as people who are in specific places of leadership as well. And I did gain a lot of insight through that. And within the first session, already the tone was set about the things we'd be learning. So, session 1, leadership is influence. What we learned is that it's not actually confined by the position which you hold. It is a functional role that one plays, and therefore it's limitless. Each person is a leader where they are. Every single person here is a leader. As Kim was presenting just now, he was showing, and by sharing his story, has had some influence in the hearts of the people, and I think in us here who listen to his story. We can call him a leader in that respect, and the same applies for every person. Secondly, it needs to be within the context, and we need to understand it within the context of the grand meta-narrative, which is within the kingdom of God. And how it is done is the influence is done by serving people as well as serving for God's kingdom purposes. So where do you serve? You don't need to go far. You don't need to go overseas. You don't need to take a bus. Where you are right now is a place where you are exerting your influence. The influence flows through us within the lives of the people that are around us in the places where we are. So it's not just about being a leader. We need to add a word. We need to add the word servant into this definition. So leadership is servanthood. Can we read this verse together? Mark, okay. How do I start? Okay, let's read together. 1, 2, 3. Jesus called them together and said, "You know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to be great among you must be your servant. And whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many." Mark chapter 10, verse 42 to 45. So what we understand here is that we need to follow in Jesus' footsteps. A leader is a leader, and the world defines a leader in a specific way and sees them in a specific way, but as Jesus' followers, we follow Jesus' footsteps. And how Jesus did it was Jesus served others to support the people that he served in reaching their full potential in their life's journeys. And so, I see. What remains then is we need to take out the leader and just understand that leadership is actually being a servant. So, one of some of the important points that I remember is that the motivation of what we do is based from the love for God. And it also needs to be based from the love for the people that we lead, independence on God for everything, and being humble under his word and spirit. So coming back to my story, that story ended there, and then life carried on, and I was participating in the servant leadership course, and I also happened to be reading a book also about leadership, not in particular to become a leader, but just because we were learning from that. And I had been placed in a new environment now. I was with different people. I had a new task at hand. That time it was a much shorter time frame to interact, but this time it was over a few months that I had the opportunity to interact. But I realized that the way I thought about what it meant to be in the place I am was a little bit different from what I thought before. Before, I was focused on just getting the task done and spending, if you can see here, spending time on the top of the pyramid, which is the structure. Those things that demand immediate attention, I was addressing those tasks. And previously, I didn't really think relationships is important, but I didn't place a big emphasis on relationships within the team as my main goal. But through the servant leadership course, I think I realized that maybe that's not the point. Maybe just finishing the task and doing an excellent work is not the only thing I should be focusing on. And so this was one of the programs that was shared within the course, where we realized that as leaders, as people, we tend to spend a lot of our time in the things that we see that are visible, but actually, perhaps if we look at Jesus as an example, we realize that relationships and therefore going into personal development and your relationship with God is also very important to spend time on. So after with the new team, at the end of the bit of the task that we were given, things were different. There were still challenges within the team. I still wanted to do things efficiently, and I still wanted things to be better. But I took a step back, and at the end of it, we were able to sit together and laugh and eat lunch together. So that's a little bit of my journey as I was learning through servant leadership course. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shiho from Tokyo, Japan. I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist, and I've been in a clinical field for more than 20 years. But let me introduce my experience at Sydenham course from this April to June, which was first held in Japan in Japanese language, facilitated by Dr. Yasuko. Since I'm so thankful for this that I was able to join this course. Okay, let me start again. I'm so thankful for that I was able to join this course because I was able to connect with the other Christian medical doctors and fellows, which I really desired for a long time. So first of all, although you already have heard of the Sydenham course already, so this is going to be just a little bit of information. What is Sydenham course and why do you call it Sydenham? That was the question that I had at first. Dr. Sanda already talked about it yesterday. The Sydenham course is named after Thomas Sydenham, who is a Christian physician in the 16th century, known as the English in the practice and the father of English medicine. This course aims to equip Christian doctors and dentists, also other medical fellows, for ministry leadership. And it gives a broad overview of issues at the interface of Christianity and medicine. I assume that there are so many people who already joined this course, since this is the ideal foundation of other ICMDA courses. And then there are basically 10 training tracks each week with various topics such as Christian leadership, medical ethics, discipleship, our mission as healthcare professionals, and sharing the gospel with patients and so on. All topics are so full of variety and very important and practical, based on Bible teaching. And at this time, most of our Japanese team members are all senior doctors and nurses who have been in practice for more than 10 years at least. So I think we were able to discuss about each topic and share our thoughts very deeply, sharing our experiences in a real field. As an example of the training tracks, let me pick up growing in discipleship. In this session, there were 12 teachings based on Bible verses. Among them, what impressed me the most, even after a long career, was number 9, manage your time, and 11, know where you stand, and the last one is get adequate food and rest. Regarding manage your time, Dr. Sanders explained with the idea in the video. He explained with the idea of life as a jar with rocks, stones, and sand. If you put sand into the jar first, there is no room for the rocks or the stones. Rocks is the most important thing in life, such as the relationship with God and also work. And then in this lesson, it also comes with the lessons guard your devotional life and don't let other expectations control you and establish priorities. I was, in my career, I was so proud that I had challenged myself in many areas and sacrificed much of my time to serve my patients in order to become a good doctor for society and also to be the best doctor for the patients in front of me, using my own strengths and ideas. However, reflecting back on my career, I realized that at some point, working so hard to acquire so many skills and knowledge in a busy schedule, so to acquire those skills and knowledge, those may have become an idol without notice. I was I devoted myself so much to my patients. So many emergencies, so many, on-call duties, and so much, and then someone becomes a maternal leave, I also have to, increase my times of the on-call duties and so on and so on. In that way, looking back, I was not able to communicate with God. So I repented that I was making my own way to improve myself, motivated to accomplish my goals. So okay. Then, in addition to manage your time, there are also other striking lessons for me. Get adequate food and rest, and know where you stand. We serve God, not men. I was reflecting myself at this time that even if something seems good to me, righteous, it is for the people, for the patients, or for whatever reason, which is reasonable to me. I always have to ask and prioritize what God wants me, not me or people want me to do. And I should select what to do, making God's relationship as a top priority. So my challenge from this session was to discern what the Lord wants rather than what I think or what other people think, and to learn to make choices and allocate my time so that I can faithfully follow it. So actually, I took this course after a long career, and most of the Japanese members who took this course this time also are all senior doctors. But I envy, you guys, medical students and young doctors who are able to learn all of these biblical teachings at their younger ages. So, yeah, what I appreciate for this course, so I was able to learn the vivid and practical biblical teachings from the lectures and apply those to my past clinical experiences. And I was able to discuss and share about our own experiences and thoughts among Christian medical doctors and fellows who have the same background, knowing the actual struggles in medical field. That was so important for me. I was so glad that I was able to connect with the other Christian medical doctors who were still rare in Japan. And then I was so encouraged this time to, so I was so thankful for that. And then also, this was learning those, actual pitfalls and then biblical teaching. It prepared myself for the next chance, knowing the actual useful tools, especially in a case of sharing the gospel with my co-workers, which I was also, so trying actively, but which failed. So, and also this is because this is an introductory course. There are more advanced courses such as bioethics or confident Christianity, which I'm very interested in now to join. So in conclusion, I think Cinema course is really a profound and practical biblical teachings applied to medical practice. So I believe participating in this course gives you a chance to seek first His kingdom and righteousness. And then it will be deepened when you discuss and share that thoughts with other Christian medical fellows. So I recommend all Christian medical fellows, especially medical doctors, to take this course to seek first His kingdom and His righteousness. Thank you.
So I'd like to share about my experience in overcoming language barriers to run the student courses in Myanmar and in Japan. As you know, many of us Japanese, we are not good at speaking English. So we are so afraid of English courses. So English is one of the biggest barriers for us to attend those courses. So wonderful, to have ICMDA training. So I wanted to help them, to learn, from those training tracks. So this is, I hope, this helps, one of the examples, how you do it in your context, in your country. I have been in Myanmar for 17 years. And as you know, the situation in Myanmar has been really tough in the last 4 years, especially since military coup. This is pictures from my apartment, actually. Things happen, in front of, the apartment a lot. And then some people are killed in front of us as well. So many students and young people were killed, arrested, still in prison, or tortured, or lost opportunities for the future. So young doctors took initiatives to stand against military regime. So they left the hospital to boycott. About 70% of the doctors left. And it shows their will, against the regime. Until today, the situation has got worse and worse. So please pray for them. So, but God is at work. So God touches people in such a difficult time, and He uses them to show His glory. I stayed in Myanmar, during those difficult times, and praying for young doctors and medical students as well. I took the Sinan course last year. I facilitated. And the second session is on Nehemiah. So Nehemiah, 1:4 said, when I heard these things, I sat down and wept. So he heard those things, difficult things, and he sat down and he wept. So this challenged me. I wanted to listen. I wanted to hear from them. And I want to sit down together and then be together with them. So what could I do? So gathering doctors is still, very sensitive and somehow, dangerous as well. But I prayed, and then Nehemiah encouraged me to move forward to start Shinam course among the doctors, online, but in Myanmar context. God is at work. However, one of the biggest issues was in language, English as well in Myanmar. So many doctors find it very hard to join. So we tried, to translate the materials, but too much work to do. And it takes a long time. So we decided to use English materials. And because there are many Google translations, some good applications to use, and the young people using that. So we decided to use the English materials and then discuss in the local language and then share and pray in the meetings. It made it faster. And then after 3 weeks, we started the course already. So we use the English materials, and then also the share and discuss in local language, and then facilitated by the local people, local doctors. And then this was very helpful to engage with their own context, and then build up their fellowship as well. This is the Burmese, Sinan course. We had 16 registered initially. It was amazing, to see like a Myanmar doctors. One is serving for military continuously. The other is against the military. And then there is a very big gap, and the heart is wounded to hate one another. But this course brought two groups together, and then to learn from him, and have a fellowship together and pray for one another. I have never imagined this to happen after this coup happened. God is at work. So this is Japanese Shinran course. Dr. Yoshimi joined the course last year, and then she really get the vision to bring the Shinran course to Japanese students and doctors. So we decided, to use the same style with Myanmar Shinran, to use the English materials, but we share in Japanese. And it works so well, as she shared as well. We have 10 participants, and then all of them actually, faithfully joined the session and finished the course. So both student courses, the Myanmar and Japanese, we decided, they show the desire to continue to meet and then, have a fellowship together and study as well. So in conclusion, I want to encourage you guys, to use, those English materials, but, to do it in your language so that, your language people, can learn from it and have a fellowship one another. So this is wonderful courses available. So, let's use it, to encourage younger generations. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I have a little bit heavy in my head, so I put my best on intonation. So today, I'm David Chen, and I'm from Taiwan, a pediatric surgical fellow. So I'm excited to share with you an important training track, the silent process training. And this program helps us to understand why and how to apply our faith in our daily healthcare work. So Jesus once told a famous parable about three servants. So a master gave the three servants different amount of money before he left. And one people got one bag of money and the other three bags, and the final one got 5 bags. And the good and faithful servants returned with double fold of the bags of money. But however, the lazy servant buried the money in the ground. And upon the master's return, he rebuked the lazy one and cast him out in the darkness. So who are the servants? We all are the servants. And we are, in fact, the one that gets the 5 bags of money. Because we have given the great opportunity to work in the healthcare workplace that we can approach a lot of people that is in need, not only in their body, but also in their spirit. So, however, there is a lot of doubts and a lot of things that hold us back on spreading the faith. So, even Moses, as written out in Exodus, he replied to God when God calls him out to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. He said that, I'm slow of speech and of tongue. And he refuses God many times that he is reluctant to lead the Israelites and in God's name. So for us, we also have a lot of often excuses. I write down some of my excuses. So when we are sharing, we are talk with our good friends, we may think that if it is possible that if we share our faith with a different with a friend with different faith, may our relationship be at risk. May our friends try to neglect us after they think that we are forcing them to become Christians. Or is like raising this topic in this moment of time suitable? Or sometimes when we are meeting with our patients, we may not know very well about them. So we may give up some excuse that, maybe our patients are too feeble now to listen to us. Or they may not be in the mood of hearing about God, or their family may be angry with us if we are sharing different things. Sometimes this happens in our circumstances, like most of our patients have a Buddhist background, and when the patient is dying, and if we share a different faith, then after the patient dies, then there will be argued about what the funerals will be like. Yeah. So, in the most, I think the hardest circumstances is sharing faith with our enemies. So sometimes when we have unpleasant coworkers or unpleasant patients, it is hard to share faith with them. Even it is hard to act like a Christian in front of them. And it is hard to love our enemies. So now, So now we're going to, if you have the similar thoughts of mine before that I described, I think selling process is very suitable for you to help you to have the confidence in God and to help you start to learn how to share faith with confidence and with the help of God. So now we're going to look at a short video about the introduction of selling process.
A few years ago, I had a cold that refused to go away. I was coughing so terribly, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I finally went to the hospital to get help. When I got there, I got the medicine I needed. What I didn't tell the doctor was that it was one of the darkest times of my life as well. I struggled with deep physical and emotional pain. And though I only shared my physical concern, still the doctor showed interest in my social, emotional, and even spiritual well-being with respect and sincerity. I was surprised I was able to talk about my deeper problems. All of the staff was kind to me, and my doctor even prayed with me and connected me to the church. Little did he know I had been contemplating suicide. God had other plans for my life. I found hope in a relationship with God and connected with a community of believers in my area. And now live to tell others about the life-saving power of Jesus.
Maybe you've had a patient like Juliet. You knew something was wrong beyond their physical needs, but you didn't know the best way to help. Or maybe you tried, but the patient wasn't receptive to you. As Christians, is there a way we can address these deeper needs of our patients? The Sailing Process is a Bible-based course that will help you use simple steps to assess where your patient is spiritually and to provide care for both body and soul. This training equips you to share the love and reality of Jesus with permission, sensitivity, and respect. After taking this course, you will be equipped to step through open doors God provides in order to share about the good news of Jesus in ways you never expected. We want to help you learn how to care for, pray for, and share with your patients at the right time as the Holy Spirit leads you. This training is about a process. God may have placed you in the life of your patients to help them with a small step they need to take that day. In the sailing process, we work together to answer 5 major questions. Why is faith important in healthcare? What are the opportunities for and barriers to fulfilling God's call? What is my part in this process? What tools will help me cultivate, sow, and harvest? And finally, where do we go from here? These questions, the course covers all aspects of a Christian healthcare worker's approach to faith in healthcare, from the science behind our practice to a working action plan. Through discussion, practice sessions, and live role play, we engage with the real life issues we face every day. The goal of this course is to help you understand the spiritual life of your patient and encourage you in your own journey with Jesus. We hope you leave ready to be salt in the world, a shining light for Jesus, and the witness you are called and created to be. Thousands of Christian healthcare workers around the world have been equipped through the sailing process and are now more confidently and passionately engaging the needs of others. God doesn't say you have to plow, plant, water, and weed all by yourself, but you can do a little every day to join in God's work in people's lives and around the world. We invite you to join the many others who are now making an impact due to their sailing process training. To find out more, contact your local sailing process trainer or visit ihsglobal.org. This life-changing course is also available online. We look forward to you joining us in introducing others to Jesus, one prayer, one action, one word at a time.
Okay, so let's make a short review of what I just said in the video. So selling process training can be divided into like 5 sections. First, we will discuss the evidence of the faith impacts on healthcare. Then we'll identify the barriers that block us from sharing our faith. And later on, we'll focus on ourselves, our relationship with God, and the tools that we could use to help us to share our faith. And finally, we will develop a practical plan that we can carry out in our daily life. So I think later on we are going to practice the role play part. So this is the 8 tools in the 4th section of the tools that we could use to share our faith. And we're going to introduce to you the faith flags and the faith stories. So faith flags is like a summary of faith stories. Faith story is a short testimony that lasts about 1 to 2 minutes. And faith flag is a summarized for like 5 to 10 seconds, no more than 30 seconds. And it happens naturally in our conversation and focus on the common grounds with our listeners. And they identify the speaker as a believer without demanding a response and open up a window for further faith talk if the listener is interested and responded. So here are some examples of a good faith flag. Like the first one is raising children is so hard. I don't think I could have coped without God's help, and it can be replaced with any kinds of test. Like studying medicine is so hard. And the second one is when a patient comments in our kindness. So we have to first express our kindness like a real Christian, and we might reply to the patient that God has been so kind to me in all kinds of circumstances of my life. So I'm treating you with the kindness God has shown me. And if the patient is interested and asks us what kind of circumstances have you really underwent, then we can tell the patients more about our testimonies. And the third one is when comforting people, we could say that I've learned from experience that God is near to the brokenhearted. And if they are interested, then we can tell about our own experience. So here are some red flags for the faith flags. So some parts are not suitable for a good faith sharing. So here are some examples. The first is it should not become a spiritual turn-off. I just try to give them examples like how to make big money from God. I think it is a little misleading from the goal of our teaching. And also, we should not try to spread a lot of rumors or try to gossiping. And the second one is do not include too much theological language that the listener may not understand, like some professional words in our Bible study, like redemption, or sometimes scenes is not a very understandable word that our listener may know. So we have to use different kinds of way to express the meaning. And the third one is not to identify you with denominations or groups. So it is sometimes we may group ourselves in different groups, like we are the baptized, or we are the one that only sings old songs. Or, yeah, so we have to be careful that if it is not beneficial for the listener, so we have to think wisely when we talk. And the last is that this do's and don'ts, the behavioral legalism. So we should not say that, oh, you should not do anything according to the Bible, because God is sometimes greater than our own thoughts. So we have to be open-hearted and ask God for our guidance. So later on, we will divide it in groups and start practicing faith flags and faith stories. So do not be afraid to speak, because we know that God is always with us and He will tell us what to say, and He is our tongue. So, thanks.
Thank you, David. So David has just very concisely summarized what Ceylon process is about. And I'm Louis from Hong Kong. I'm in my 5th year as a physician, and I'm doing the palliative care medicine. So before my presentation, I wish to ask you a question. Could more healthcare workers be sent out in your region so that they can reap the harvest and to save souls? Today I wish to briefly highlight what's happening in the Hong Kong Stay Alive movement, to serve as a reference for further brainstorming of what we can do in our different regions. So I was saved in my year one in university, and yeah, Jesus loved me so much, and he died for me, and I really wish to live for him, and he wished to save souls. So I really in the campus, I just try my very hard to save souls, and when I graduate, I also want my patient souls to be saved. The only thing is that I knew how to present the gospel, like the four spiritual laws, but I did not know how to engage my patients in the workplace setting. So yes, I was so desperate, but thanks God that He eventually let me came across the Stay Line, and in which I learned the very key thing I learned is to first identify in which phase our patient is, how open their heart is for God, like in the cultivating phase, the sowing phase, the harvest phase, and so that we can tailor-make the right amount of truth and love to them. And yeah, these are questions that David has just mentioned. And as from then on, having learned the Stay Line process, I just found myself much more effective and efficient in delivering, bringing my patients closer to God when I started off since I graduated. So it was very powerful, and having experienced this power, God gave me another call. You can see this is a picture, people in the sunset. So God is telling me His heart through this picture. It is in a department full of Christians, but rarely do they share about God. And yes, I felt just God was telling me that the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. So He asked the Lord of the harvest to send out workers into His harvest field, same called as the Mongolian. And so from then on, I kept on praying, and together with many of our seniors and colleagues' prayers, God gave a vision to us. And so these are like four people, the presidents representing four organizations in Hong Kong. God gave them a vision, and together they united and formed the Stay Line movement. So the vision is simple: to raise up workers to witness and save souls by connecting brothers and sisters, to equip them, to mobilize them to save souls. So what do they actually do? So in 2022, right after the COVID in pandemic in Hong Kong, we united together and launched the first event called the Vision Night, in which we prayed 70 plus brothers and sisters all across the healthcare workplace in Hong Kong. Together they attend this, and we pray together, and we've shared the vision to them about this Stay Line movement. And the second thing we did was to launch the Revival Conference, specific for healthcare professionals. So in August 2022, we launched this thing, and yeah, a lot of people came, and we really thank God that through this conference, He ignited the passion of our brothers and sisters for Him and for the gospel. So we could see brothers and sisters, their hearts returned back to God, and they really decided that, oh, I no longer want to just be a doctor or nurse. I want to be a Christian doctor, Christian nurse who also saves souls, my patients' souls. And so, right after that, we organized the Stay Line process witness training in November. Same thing they were just quoted, and we equipped them spiritually, practically to become God's witness in the workplace. And so here, up till now, we have gathered a large group of people all across Hong Kong. So sorted by different hospital or clusters of hospitals, we form different groups. And so that will be the fourth one, the cluster group meetings, in which like in some WhatsApp groups, and our brothers and sisters would, before they share the gospel to some patients, they would post some prayer items and pray for them so that we can work together. And yeah, we can see souls saved, and when they share the testimonies of saving the patient's souls, that would encourage more brothers and sisters to do the same back in the group and forming a very strong mutual support network. And as the fifth thing that God did through us was an evangelistic meeting. In 2023 November, we launched this meeting, and a lot of people came, and we are really so glad that this is the pastor praying for the people who just stood out to receive Jesus, and a lot more back there are Christians who again decided they would no longer, they want to return to Jesus and follow him in the rest of their lives. So yeah, we are really thankful that God has been working in Hong Kong. And so I was so honored to participate as one of the committees in this movement, to witness God's work, and just to again raise the same question: could more healthcare workers be raised in the region so as to save souls and reap the harvest? Yeah, so I hope may God send out more and more workers all across the world. Thank you.
It's wonderful, to hear what is going on in Hong Kong. So we have some time to do, small group discussions. And, the question is, what kind of face flags will work in your cultural context? So if you have taken silent course, please go, move to the, other people, who have not taken the silent course yet, to share and to discuss about this. And also, what is your opinion on training tracks? And what courses are you interested in joining? So we will take 10 minutes, to form, like 4 or 5 people together, and then, to discuss about, face flags in your context and training tracks. So please go ahead, make it in the groups, and then I'm coming back. Each country.
Each country.
Oh, okay. Each country. Then. Okay. Shall we do it in country by country maybe? Then it's easier, to speak and share, right? Okay. So then Korea here, then Taiwan, Hong Kong, Burkina Faso, and then Japan over here too. I think so many, Korean, Japanese. Please split into 2 or 3 groups.
Japanese, you are with Japanese. I only do it Japanese. Maybe I will be with
Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, that's not enough time. So, still talking. So shall we have a, 5 minutes of questions and answers? If you have any questions on training trust, here is opportunity, to ask questions. Here, Peter Sanders and Henry and leaders are here as well. So, do you have any questions or opinions, thoughts? One or two, Okay, I think some groups have very good discussions right now. So maybe we can continue, to discuss, during the lunchtime. No, I think. So maybe, let's, end with a prayer. This is, for young students and, young professionals, to learn, to be equipped, and then to serve, as well. So I think, we should take a time, to pray for the students and the young doctors and nurses as well. So, please, Angela, would you like to come in front? Yes. Sorry, we moment to pray and the session, and you can continue. Pray for the students and your doctors.
Okay. We are the learner. We are the student, always a student. So if you feel you still want to learn it, you handle you want to learn it. For example, I'm almost 60, so I still want to learn it. And so how about you? Professor Tim, do you want to learn it? Okay, encourage everyone, especially the senior. Okay, if you didn't learn it, okay, you tell your young students, say, you have to learn it. Okay, I want to play for everyone. Learn it together. Enjoy to learn it, even though we are getting very old age. I think we are strong. So stand up, please, in front of the Jesus, and we want to learn it together. Heavenly Father, and then Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Now we are here. We want to learn it, and we have a good teacher, like many doctors and new doctor, Peter Sanders, and all of us. And we are not just saying, we want action. And please train us. And maybe one day, and maybe that day, we are saying goodbye to our friend and our family, and also our follow-up and our students. And we will say, we still follow you step, and we still learn.